Business news now with Stephen. We're starting off, in fact, with the price of oil. It's actually hit a new benchmark, hasn't it, Stephen?
The slump in oil prices, as we know, because we've been talking about it so much, has been really one of the biggest stories in the business world in the past 2 years. In January, they hit a 12-year low of just over $31 a barrel on the Brent crude index. In trading today, though, that's rebounded past the $50 a barrel mark. That's the first time that's happened in 6 months, seen as a landmark in the oil industry. There are a couple of factors behind this. On the supply side, wildfires in Canada's oil-producing region knocked out about 1 million barrels a day of production in May. Militant activity in Nigeria has also cut as much as 40% from that country's output. And on top of that, new figures out yesterday showed a fall in US oil stocks. Plus, in general, as oil prices have been getting lower, people have been using more oil as a result. So all of that contributing to a rebound in the price.
Something nice and positive for you now. Some good news, in fact, in France. This on the jobs front.
The number of people registered as unemployed fell in April for the second consecutive month. That's the first time that's happened in 5 years. The monthly live register figures saw a fall of 0.6%, with over 3.5 million people still registered as out of work. Good news, though, for the French president, who'd said before that he wouldn't run for re-election unless he'd reverse the trend of rising unemployment.
Another French story for you now. The strikes at oil refineries we've been telling you about, causing massive headaches, of course, for motorists, and even bigger issues, of course, for businesses.
It's estimated that around a third of French petrol stations are now running short or have completely run out of fuel. That, of course, means long queues at the pumps. But for companies that rely on petrol to operate, it could spell financial disaster. Clément Bonnereau reports.
Frustration running high across France as concerned motorists are desperate to fill up their tanks. For businesses, fuel shortages are an even bigger issue. This builder says he's unable to work.
People have been calling us to empty their septic tanks, but we just can't do it. We didn't manage to get any petrol yesterday.
Fuel shortages have forced Stéphane to tap into his own reserves, but he's now completely run out of petrol. He says protesters are preventing him from working.
I'm fed up with this country. We can't work.
If Stéphane doesn't get petrol soon, he says he could lose 7,000 euros a day and have to fire some of his employees.
This could kill my business. If it continues for another 2 or 3 weeks, I'll be dead.
Here in the suburbs of Paris, this car rental company is also feeling the impact.
These vehicles are parked here. Customers can't rent them because there's no petrol.
The company has already lost 10,000 euros over the past week alone. Fuel shortages have also caused major anxiety for taxi drivers. With their petrol tanks running low, they're now calling on authorities to help them.
If things don't improve quickly, we'll ask authorities to give us priority status so we can have access to petrol reserves.
Priority vehicles include emergency vehicles such as police cars and ambulances. About 1 in 3 petrol stations are facing fuel shortages across the country.
Clément Bonnereau there. Let's have a look at what's happening on the stock markets then.
European shares opening up at the start of the day, although not by much, it has to say. Oil companies getting a bit of a boost from that increase in the oil price. That's mainly helping shares on London's FTSE 100. Mixed picture for Asian shares, though. The oil price rally and the concerns over what the US Federal Reserve will do next, though, changing the picture on the Asian markets. You can see small gains in Japan and in Shanghai, but falls in Hong Kong and on the Kospi in Seoul. Some more of the day's business headlines for you next. The US cruise company Royal Caribbean Cruises has signed a deal with France's STX to build 3 new vessels worth €2.5 billion. The ships are set to be delivered by 2022 and represent up to 23 million hours work, according to STX. This coming just weeks after the shipyard handed over the world's biggest cruise ship, the Harmony of the Seas, to Royal Caribbean. The switch to HD television in France has helped boost revenues at electronics retailer Darty. It saw a jump of 16% in revenues at its French operations as terrestrial signals here switched over to high definition in April. Darty says it'll announce its decision on a takeover bid from Fnac in the coming days. And the Chinese e-commerce giant Alibaba is being investigated in the United States over its accounting practices. The company says the Securities and Exchange Commission has requested more information on events including Singles Day. The company's shares falling by nearly 7% in New York on that news.
Now, next to a new study that might be a concern to those of us, I'm looking at you actually, Stephen, here, that consider ourselves workaholics.
Yeah, that doesn't reflect very well on me. This research carried out by researchers in Norway, the United Kingdom and the United States. The paper argues that there's a correlation between having an uncontrollable work motivation and having anxiety, depression or attention deficit disorder. Now, the researchers found in particular that the increased use of mobile phones for checking email outside of work hours was aggravating problems for many.
Stephen, I'm still looking at you. Finally from Stephen, though, Disney has unwittingly created a currency black market.
Unlikely as it sounds, this is to do with the Disney dollar, which is being withdrawn from circulation from the entertainment giant's theme parks. The bills featured characters like Mickey and Minnie Mouse, Goofy and others. Disney said they were going to stop selling them earlier this month, but the bills are now up on eBay for up to $999 a piece. Now, the price inflation runs into the thousands of a percent. A $1 Pirates of the Caribbean bill sold for $15, while a special 50th anniversary note went for nearly $500. It's somewhat of a Mickey Mouse boom, though, given you can't actually buy anything with these dollars anymore, given they've stopped selling them.
Crazy. Can't you just cut out a picture of Mickey and stick it on a normal note?
You try telling that to a collector.
Exactly. It would save you a lot of money, wouldn't it? Stephen, thanks a lot. Stephen, we're busy.